Hello everyone, it's very excellent to see all of your faces right now. Allow me to ask you find out how many of you present today feel as you need to live up to your potential. Possibly how many of you believe to be like this, have more to offer, to reach more, to experience in this life. But for some reason you seem unable to get yourself to engage in regular action. Well, I'd come to inform your friends that the fundamental means of releasing such potential, the secret of at last producing the discoveries you have been yearning for, are mostly on one essential term: consistency. You see, talent makes no difference. You are either highly intelligent or very much depending on your possibilities should you be unable to grow the virtue of showing up and completing the "I'm sorry about the daily grindin' and day-wise." You are going to miss reaching, though, the heights you are qualified for. Now I realize that's a difficult pill to swallow. Believe me, I have visited there. I have had periods throughout my life when I was bursting with concepts rich of desire and will, yet I simply couldn't seem to apply. I would start a fresh endeavor, is driven with great energy, just to, after a few weeks, I would make a fizzle out. Grand announcements on the modifications I was going to produce just a slide, returning to my previous routines and traditions, and you know what I came across as the issue? Not a lack of vision or drive. The issue was that I needed to coach oneself to remain constant, had not honed the mental toughness, and self-discipline is required to keep on. The unavoidable difficulties and roadblocks they develop while you're seeking to create major lifetime transformation in your life. But once I worked that out, I made the will to compel myself to be constant, regardless of what that means. Everything began to change, and that's when I started to witness the sort of advancement and the success I had only ever imagined, and come to inform you, my buddies, that the same is true for every single one of us. One of you notices uniformity in the basis on which everything is wonderful. Achievements build themselves. They are the variances between someone who speaks a huge game but never perform, and someone who silently, steadily, day after day after day sees their efforts and puts in the work, and dreams coming true with regularity is what makes the winners different from the losers. The success of the average, the fulfilled from the annoyed, and the finest thing is that consistency is a talent that one can acquire and grow. Like any other, it's not some natural ability. Degree of excellence either you possess or you, not my pals. It's a muscle that one might enhance a habit they possess by develop a perspective from which you might deliberately forge within. It will be complex. I will tell you that right now, developing consistency calls for selflessness, commitment, and loyalty. About your objectives, it means rejecting the simple distractions. The temptations to cut, bends, or follows the least path of the least resistance implies negotiating via the resistance to self-doubt, the periods of tiredness and demoralizing behavior, and displaying up to accomplish the task anyway. And let me tell, you will find lots of those there. Moments, as the truth is human. Nature in search of comfort, to evade pain, to choose the simple solution to our brains, are designed to save energy and reduce work. And so that indicates that any time we attempt to deviate from our comfort zones and act, taxing or demanding our wits, are intending to fight. But here is the thing my buddies should do if they wish to succeed. Everything is fantastic in this life. You have to be ready to work hard. You have to be ready to go past the struggle, to welcome the discomfort, and to forward even in the case of every thread you are shouting at your being to quit, since let me tell you, the prize is on the other side of that sort of regular, steady effort. It's deep. I'm referring to the sort of human development. The kind of success is the type of gratification one gets from most people's only dreams are, but it all begins with that first stride, that the first choice is to make yourself forcible, constant now. I know what you might be thought, but Jim, how could I even start to achieve this kind of consistency as I intend? I tried before and failed at what made sense. Could I indeed pull off it? This time, my buddies allowed me to share with you the 3 fundamental ideas I identified as quite necessary for growing absolute lifetime consistency in your life. The first premise calls on you to get clear about your why. You need to have a burning, solid reason for exciting goal, motivating you forwards and maintains your inspiration, even when the going becomes difficult. It's because, tell me without a good enough basis here. Why will your consistency fall apart? Comparable to a house of cards, the moment that the first storm rolls in. You see, consistency is not limited to will, or the discipline relies on reaching into something far more deeply within you. It's about lining your behavior with your inner values, your strongest wishes. Your dream of the life you wish to lead produce. When you can relate what you're doing daily to that larger goal, makes it much more straightforward. Continue to show up daily without fail, with no regardless of the challenges that may come about. So I want you to pause and consider, what is it that is you genuinely become excited about, what motivates you and fills you, with a goal of what type of influence you wish to create, not only on your own life, but in the surroundings. You become relatively straightforward on that, my friends, and let it be the guideline that keeps you onward, even in front of the road ahead looks like darkest. The second principle is all about responsibility. You find one of the main difficulties in developing constancy is that it's just so natural to let's clear ourselves to enable reasons to justify our path of escape from working hard. But when you include other persons enter the picture, when you should answer to something. So someone else's exterior side of oneself gets far more challenging to turn back into those same familiar routines. Now, this does not imply you have to share your aspirations and aims with the whole. Truthfully, I would advise against that, since including more individuals results in the additional opportunity for judgment exists, criticism, or uninvited guidance. No. What I'm referring to, locating a little reliable circle of persons, possibly a mentor, a group of like-minded coaches, or a team. People qualified to be your responsibility, allies, your cheers, and your sounding boards as you negotiate this path of consistency, orderly behavior. These are the people who will expose you when you're creating reasons why someone might honor your victories and prod you to stay on when the going is tough, grows difficult. They are the ones who will keep you to the promises you have made, and who will object to let you go from the hook regardless of your desired level to quit. And let me tell you, having such kind of supporting network in place can make all the difference on earth. Since, to be honest, building consistency alone is difficult enough. However, when you aim to accomplish all alone without outside motivation, hence, responsibility becomes a challenging climb. Conflict is something most people are just not interested in. Ready for win. So my buddies, I would want you to start considering the people you may bring in your corner, friend who could be your ally on this road towards more excellence. Regularity and discipline could be a close friend of a colleague's family member, alternatively a professional coach, or even the secret is to identify those who will see you, the person who will advocate for your advancement, and someone to keep you accountable to high criteria you define for yourself. Then, the third and last principle is all regarding consistently deliberate deed you observe at the end of the day. Consistency isn't only a way of thinking or a feeling. It is a physical, quantifiable set of actions and routines you use that have to grow over time. I know now you could be thinking, but Jim, I already realize I have to act. I experimented with that once, and it simply hasn't stayed, and you are precisely correct. Simply said, my buddies, are acting is not enough. What you must do is grow a daily ritual, a set based on a solid system, various behaviors you can consistently fall under back on whatever life presents, regardless of method, since, to be honest, life is sloppy. Its unpredictability is chaotic. Hence, it will constantly show us with unexpected difficulties and distractions, and if your clarity is lacking, deliberate scheme set in place for your arriving and working through the daily grind in and during the day, you simply arrange things. You are ready for failure. What then is that in practical terms seems like? It could involve allocating a particular amount for time of day, most importantly relevant for you chores, and guarding that period fiercely. It could mean producing a thorough, methodical schedule for your direction to reach your objectives, and then dissecting that strategy into smaller pieces, reasonable action plans. It might also signify developing responsibility. Check-ins using a coach to mentor or a reliable friend or relative. Member having someone to forward reports back to someone qualified to ask you the difficult questions, and honesty help you to stay faithful. powerful inducement to keep on monitor, and let's not overlook the power of habit when you might change your constant behavior that turns into an automated practices and actions that correspond with the real magic begins to occur. As to be honest, we are all creatures of habit, and help yourself to reach the where completing the task seems just as natural and straightforward as you clean your teeth or preparing your morning coffee, then you have entirely perfected the art of constancy. Today allows me to understand what you might be. Thinking all sounds fantastic, Jim, but how should I approach producing? Such routines and behaviors fit well. My pals allowed me to forward to you a straightforward 3-step method C that caught my attention to be amazing. Efficient, first start modest. Avoid trying to overnight wholly remodel your life. Instead, concentrate on carrying out only 1, perhaps 2 new behaviors at once. Maybe it's putting aside 30 minutes every morning for your most crucial chore or grabbing a 10-minute stroll during your lunch break. The secret is to stay bare and controllable such that you can really stick to it. Second, make it simple. Remove as many hurdles and obstructions as possible. As best as feasible, should your new habit be reading 30 minutes before bed, then make sure you have either an e-reader or a book, correct? Near your bed to avoid having to go hunting should one spend 20 minutes in work every day, then have your sneakers and training clothing spread out and eager to start and stack your habits in 3 layers. Seek chances to stack your new actions onto already established processes for, if you already have a morning, for instance, coffee-rich duel. Why not apply that as a trigger to additionally practice a brief meditation or diary note, or if you have already walked your dog every night, why not apply that? Opportunity to also pay close attention to a motivating A podcast or an audiobook, beginning with little, building it quickly, and stacking your habits. You establish surroundings that backs up and accentuates your consistency, instead of one aimed against it and across time. When those behaviors develop more and more rooted, you will discover that the effort seems somewhat less intimidating or deliberate. It simply turns into a natural, the aspect of your everyday lives. But my buddies, I want to be clear. Developing this type of constant method of approach to your dreams and aspirations will not be simple. There will be disappointments. There will be moments when you would prefer to give up, and there are times when the resistance feels completely overpowering. And that's quite reasonable in truth. It's natural, since the truth is anything worthwhile in this life. Life will demand you to push past your level of comfort to face your uncertainties and anxieties, and to get by the difficult times. But here's the problem. Once you devote yourself to force oneself to be constant, as you create the choice to show up and do the task daily in and daily, regardless of whatever it is, when the actual magic begins to take place. That's when you start to access a degree of will to pay attention and resiliency most people can only manage to ever dream of. Because let me tell you, my friends, the benefits on the other side of that kind of persistent work is absolutely deep. I'm discussing the kind of personal development corresponding with success, the kind of fulfillment most people can merely dream about. Picture what I would like to, at last, reach. That aim you have been pursuing for years. Consider the pride, the confidence, the sense of empowerment resulting from which would arise, knowing your discipline would help you, thus the will to see it through, know whatever one imagines. How would it change your life's course, your connections, your general direction of the goal and direction? And you know what the finest part of it is, that kind of transforming change is within your grasp. All you need is the choice to make yourself go towards coherent, to fulfill the dedication, to cultivate the behaviors, to go beyond the opposition and constant showing up single day till you get to the end line now, and I realize that's simpler stated than I have visited there personally. My life has had periods when I felt as I was never going to be able to break out from my usual routines and actions, but once I decided upon it to foster actual constant stability, everything started to move in my life, and let me tell you, my friends, the outcome has been nothing. It's not quite impressive, but I have fulfilled my goals, and completed feats are never even mentioned here. Dreamed were realistic. I started companies. I have authored books after traveling the world, and I have had the honor of influencing and motivating many thousands of people along the road. And you know what consistency represents as the shared threat? The capacity to show up daily in and daily out and labor, even in cases of every threat of my life, is guiding me to the secret sauce is quitting, as friends have advised. That is the basis upon which every natural, long-lasting prosperity is created. Hence, I wish once more, are you ready to force? You are constant, hence, you are ready. To decide right here and hence to cease allowing justifications and distractions hold you back and prevent you from beginning acting deliberately in conformity with discipline, in line with your most considerable aspirations and objectives. Because let me tell you, the world needs more people like you around the globe. Require additional people who are eager to overcome opposition, to welcome the difficulty and the need of hard labor needed to provide the sort of favorable, the enduring transformation we so sorely need. And I understand it won't be simple. I am aware of situations when you will felt like tossing in the towel times, when the difficulty appears unbreakable, but I also know that if you probe thoroughly, if you access that wellspring of passion, and the goal is hidden inside you, can conquer anything. So my pals, let's do PCT right here. So now let's promise to drive yourself to be constant throughout all what lets us answer each other. Let's help and inspire each other, and let's show the world what is achievable. When several committed individuals, people assemble in search of a shared objective, since truth is the only constraints we encounter in this life, are those we put on ourselves, and during our gather the bravery to escape those self-imposed limitations, while we compel personally to be consistent in the quest of our aspirations, that marks when the actual enchantment occurs. Are you ready as well? To enter your authority and release your entirely potential, and to produce the type of the life you have only ventured to imagine then. Let us start working on, my friends. The future belongs to us for the thank you, and God bless.